All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. For those of you who haven't met yet, although you may have received a bunch of emails from me during this process already, I'm Troy. I lead founder success here at Netcapital. Today's fundraising masterclass is all about how to turn traffic into investors, the live webinar strategy. We're joined by Jose, co-founder and CMO at Grohak. Grohak has helped founders raise more than 120 million across 20 industries and ranks among the top 4% of meta advertisers. A few housekeeping items before we get started. So this event's going to be recorded, and we'll be sharing it with you all, along with anyone who wasn't able to attend after the event today. We'll also distribute Jose's contact info, as well as more information about Grohak and how they can help you with your offering. If you have any questions during the event, feel free to drop them in the Q&A feature, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. Otherwise, we'll leave time at the end for Q&A. With that, Jose, I will let you take it from here. Share your screen
Awesome.
and get started.
Awesome. Thank you, Troy. So excited to be here, honestly, with everybody, and teach you what we do. Like Troy said, the webinar is about turning traffic into investors, and our live webinar strategy is a strategy that we created over time, and it's very successful. So as a company and team, we've helped raise over $120 million since 2017. We've worked on over 200 campaigns, including, technology, healthcare, entertainment, crypto, B2B, SaaS, anything that you could think of, we've probably done, and it's been a long time, right? So we've seen how strategies have changed from 2017, which Troy, Paul, and me were just talking about, to now, right? A lot of people are doing the same thing of what was working in 2017 and wondering why they can't raise any capital or why their agency can't be successful. And it's because they haven't moved forward with the times, right? The strategies have changed, the way that you raise capital has changed, and you need to evolve in order to do so. So personally, as Troy said, I'm the CMO and founder of Grohak. In 2021, we were acquired by Republic. They are equity raising platforms as well. And it was amazing. We got acquired by them because of our strategies. And I was the head of performance marketing there. So all the strategies that I did were what led to this. These are real screenshots that you see here from real campaigns that we've managed. So as a team, and we've worked with everybody, right? And I think this is what makes us unique, right? Other people have only worked with equity crowdfunding, or only done maybe some lead gen in the past. We've done everything, right? We've done e-com, we've done lead gen, we've done equity crowdfunding, and they IPO'd. When they IPO'd, they could have gone to any other agency. They came to us to do their go-to-market strategy during an IPO. Like that's insane. It's in huge budgets that we worked with in order to really drive a buzz. And it's very exciting to do these kinds of things with big names and with people that are doing cool things. So we love working with founders. Now, the problem, right? Like, why do most campaigns struggle? And it's really like four main things. One, they rely on paid media to go directly to their campaign page. The problem with driving traffic to their campaign page, right, is that your conversion rate's low and you're not capturing email, you're not capturing SMS, you're not getting anything to follow up. Think about anytime you go buy online, right? How many cart abandoned emails do you get? Let's say that you go, I don't know, you want to install pool in your house. How many times do they follow up with you if you don't answer, right? You need to follow up and nurture people. And if you drive traffic directly to a campaign page, you eliminate that because there's no way for you to capture their information. So the paid media mistake is that they're driving traffic directly there. Number two, founders don't know how to activate a community. What do? They're like, oh, okay, I send one email to my campaign to my community and hope that it converts. Like, it doesn't work that way. You really have to think about how do you talk to each segment of your community and what do you do? But I'll explain that after. And then number three, you have to nurture your community. Like, think about anything that you go buy, right? What's the first thing you do? You go to ChatGPT, you go to Google. Hey, I have questions on this. Reddit. What do you think of this, right? Like, help convince me to buy. You go to all these pages. So the only way that you can get somebody to invest is if you answer their questions, right? How do you answer their questions? At first, you take a guess at what they're going to answer. You also look at campaigns similar to you, and you could go look into their questions, into their comments, and be like, okay, this is what people are asking. So I'll walk through that later, but basically you have to answer the questions. And when people don't have questions, that's when they invest. Now, the solution, right? It's a four-step process. It's the solution that we created. Number one, we activate your community to get a big spike of investors into your page. People like what others like, right? So they want to go into your page and see a lot of investors. They want to see a big number. That makes them be like, hey, I should be a part of this, right? If they see one investor, and even if it's 200 grand, but it's just one investor, it's not the same level of excitement. So you need to see large numbers, large people. Number two, capture leads with landing pages, which I mentioned earlier. Number three is you have to nurture with a CRM. So we use a CRM that we built out for people that work with us, that as people come in, they go into a flow, into an email flow and an SMS flow. Why do we do an email and an SMS? It's like very obvious, but it's because emails open rate, right, might be like 40 to 50%. SMS open rate is close to 100%. You know, you're going to get it. There's no way that you can avoid it. Even if you don't open it, you're still reading the message, right? Because you get it. So that's why we do email and SMS. And SMS is very easy to become friends and get information. And if somebody responds, then somebody can take over and say like, hey, what questions do you have? What do you need? Do you want to book a call? And step four is convert with which is why it's called the live webinar. Once we have all these leads, we convert them on a webinar. Why? Because you always need an event to cost large investments. Think about, again, we're gonna go with like an e-com example. What happens during Black Friday? You get a spike of investments. Why? Why? Because there's an event, right? It's something that's making you go to buy. So what we do with equity crowdfunding is that the event where we make people invest is get them on a webinar, answer all their questions, explain who the founder is, why the founder is capable of managing your investment, their vision, how they're going to get there, how they want to be profitable. And then at the end, you ask any questions, right? The people ask any questions to you, you answer them, and they feel, okay, I don't have to go to Reddit. I don't have to go to an AI. I don't have to go to Google. I got to go invest because I believe in the vision and I believe in the team that can achieve this. So number one is we activate your community, right? Like I said earlier, you got to segment your community, right? You can't, let's say that you have a list of 500,000 people, right? Or even if you have 10,000 people, it doesn't matter how big or little it is, you have to segment. It's if somebody has purchased three times from you, right? If somebody has opened your emails 10 times, if somebody has clicked on your ads, I mean, on your emails five or more times. Those are really engaged people. So you want to start with the most engaged and call them out, right? You want to tell them like, hey, I've noticed you clicked on the email 10 times. You really like this, right? Or I noticed you purchased 10 times. Like you believe in our company, you believe in our mission, you like our product. Why would you not become an investor, right? This is an opportunity. This is an invitation from the CEO, however you want to frame it, right? And we have our own way to frame it, but you got to make them feel like, hey, they know what I'm doing. They see me and I'm taking some actions that show that I would be an investor, right? Make them feel connected. So that's how we segment um, and create compelling messages for each of the different segments. And then over time, you go expanding the segments. You don't want to start blast out your entire campaign, your entire list, and then mess it up. You want to start with a small segment, see how it performs, and then keep expanding. So you keep testing different messages. If it works, then you can blast. If it doesn't, then you fix. Now, through email and through SMS, the things that you can do to get people to invest is that you have to sh- show them that you're doing things that are cool, right? So you can say like, hey, we just hired X person. This is what they're gonna do, right? The company just achieved this. We just hit our targets. We're at this expo where we got invited to talk here, right? We had this PR. So anything that you can do so that they see, oh, this company has a lot of movement. I really like what they're doing. Stay top of mind. Now, for us personally, when we talk to a founder, we decide if we're going to start with, activating their community or not, depending on where they are, right? But most of the time we do because even though most founders say like, hey, I can't, use my friends or family or I can't use the investors, they've actually haven't activated them good enough to maximize the investments. And a lot of the people that already invested in your campaign are actually going to increase their investment or invest again because they believe in you already and now they're hearing you talk. Now, step two, what I said, when you're running ads, you need to have a landing page where you're capturing their information so that you can nurture them right, but also so that you can test different messaging. So on the ads, we test different messages that we drive to the landing page. Each of our landing pages, and we try a couple of them, have a different headline, right? We start with the headline. It's the easiest thing to test that makes the biggest difference. And then we tag people as they come into our CRM with what headline did they see that they liked, or which ad what was it, so that when we get investments, we can say, hey, they came from this ad specifically. We actually tie it back. This helps you, optimize for what's working and spend where it matters. Apart from that, we're obviously retargeting. And in our retargeting, we're answering questions that people are asking on our campaign page. So if we see, I don't know, one of the questions, what are you going to do with the funds, right? Or what do you plan to, what is your growth goals, right? So then we would answer those in the retargeting ad so that again, they feel answered. It goes back to making people feel like I don't have any more questions, and that's why I'm going to invest. Now, step three, and I know I'm moving kind of quickly through this, but step three is nurture leads through CRM, right? So on the right, I have a screenshot of our actual CRM and how it would look like. And basically, depending on where somebody comes in from, we would send them on a different path, right? Or we would tag them a different way so that we can message them later with a different message. At the beginning, we might start more broad, but then as people are coming into the CRM and they're saying, I'm interested, but this, okay, let's answer that but in the ad, let's answer that but in the email, let's answer that but in the first message. So by building a robust CRM, you're able to craft different messages for each people in different stage, right? So if somebody just came into your CRM, you might tell them one thing, but if they replied to a message, then you have to tell them another thing. If you move them into book the call, you have to obviously send reminders, but not just send reminders because that's boring. You got to send things that make them excited, right? Like, why should I be excited to show up? Like, make me want to show up to the call, make me want to invest, make me get to the call and not have a million questions. Like, make me get there feeling like I just need to give you a check, right? Like I'm ready. So this is how you build a CRM. You think about all the things that could happen, and it has to be very robust. You have to create investor messaging for each one and think about all the actions that people can take. And then monitor it in real time. The great thing with a CRM is that you actually see what people are writing in real time. So we have our team like looking at it and be like, okay, what are they saying and how do we move that message into our funnel, right? Or what are they saying that is bad that we have to remove from our funnel? So it's not just to fix, also not only to improve, but also to remove any negative things. And now number four, where we lead with our most impactful item, like I said, our Black Friday event, is converting leads with a webinar, right? So when we have them on our list, we've gathered all this list that's in our CRM, they're getting messages, they're getting emails, then we bring them into a webinar. Once they join the webinar, we create the script for you, right? So that you know what you're going to say. We do A/B testing on the webinar opt-in page to make sure that we have a high attendance. We make sure that we're creating engagement during the webinar so that you want to stay on, so that people want to stay on and chat. And then after the webinar, we have a strategy where we book calls with people and also get people to invest because they just saw this amazing event that they learned a lot from. Um, so basically that's the four stages of our strategy, right? And I know that was a lot and I moved very quickly because that's just how I am. I have to learn how to slow down at times. But this is good because it helps people do a couple things, which is one, it helps people connect with you on the webinar. It helps people ask real questions. It helps them like believe in you and your team and your vision, and it helps them trust you and know that you are the person that they should trust their money with to grow a company, right? Whether it be because you will have, you know, an amazing, profitable venture, or they just believe in your mission because you're helping people, right? Whatever it is, you need to get that buy-in, and the buy-in only happens on a webinar where they can actually speak and hear you, right? Like if I would have sent you this slide, you might have not understood, but now you get the entire thing. You get like, oh, okay, this is what's bad, this is what's good, this is why, right? So this is why you need to do a webinar or calls, and it's to be able to connect with people. Now, Troy, you've done a lot of these. Paula, you've done a lot of these. One of the things that people do in webinars, a lot of people can do them, but not a lot of people can get a high attendance rate, and that's the hard part, right? Like sending out an email and saying like, "Hey, I'm having a webinar, Friday." It's easy. Getting people to attend is very hard. Our attendance records surpass 50%. Like we have like 40, 45%, 50%. The last one we did, which was last week, we got a 60% attendance rate. Like nobody sees these numbers, and that's because of our strategy, because we've been doing this since 2017 and we actually look at numbers, right? You heard me through this webinar right now, just saying like we are actively looking at what other people are posting in campaigns, at what they're posting on your campaign, and what people are responding in the CRM. There's nothing better than hearing from your customer and making changes based on what they say. Not on what you think they say, right? You could start with what you think they say, but you have to actually see what they say afterward and make the changes. And that's what we do. And that's why I think we're so successful because we're actively looking at data. Now, our packages are pretty simple. We have two packages. One is a full campaign package where we manage your entire campaign, right? From the ads to the landing page. We create ads with images. We create ads with AI, right? If we have to film some assets, we'll let you know. We do all the webinar execution, right? So everything end to end that you need, we build out the CRM, we onboard you, we train your team on how to use it. So everything end to end that you need is in the full campaign package. If you only need a webinar, which is honestly a great start because it's a little bit more affordable, then we activate your community. And a lot of the people that we work with, the majority of the people, once they start with a webinar and they see how successful it is, then they go on to the full campaign because I know how it is and founders are nervous, but our webinars actually convert very well. I told Troy the lowest up to now, right? And knock on wood that it doesn't go down, has been a 6x return. And that's why we really believe in them. Any questions?
Thanks, Jose. I want to zero in on a couple things that you talked about. If you could go back to the slide on landing pages. As a first step, what would you say makes a successful landing page, right? So instead of using the tactic of driving people directly to the offering page, instead of having a middle step, directing them to a landing page, collecting the information, then following up, what makes a successful high converting landing page, would you say?
So successful high converting landing page is why I mentioned the easiest thing to test that changes the conversion rate is your headline, right? It has to connect with the ad that's bringing that person in. So that's why I said earlier, hey, we have multiple landing pages and all we're testing is the headline, is because the headlines connects with the ad, right? So if like, let's say you do a headline of like people want to trade crypto, just making something up, and then they land on the page and it says, um, I have a webinar for crypto. It's like, how did you go from trade to webinar, right? That's going to kill your conversion rate. So it's how do you unite the message from ad to landing page to the automations that are going on in the back end. So it all has to tie in. Now, second thing that you have to do to have a high converting landing page is you got to have the email phone capture above the fold, right? So always have it above the fold, especially on mobile is the most important. I know that it's easier to design for desktop because it just looks prettier. On email is more condensed. I mean, on phone is more condensed, but it's just always designed above the fold, even on mobile. Don't make it that long, right? The longer you make it, the more chances you're making for them to drop off, right? Once you need to make it like a small enough page where you're like piquing their curiosity and they need to submit their information to learn more. If you just give them all the information, they're like, okay, cool, thank you. I either liked it and I'll give you the information or I didn't, right? But some of those I didn't actually could be investors if they're educated over time through, ads, SMS, and email. So that's why you have to keep them short.
And by above the fold, you mean close to the top, right? You don't want to bury it toward the bottom. You mean like if it's on mobile, the first like at least one or two paragraphs you should have
Right,
in an embed form, very close to the top.
right. Like you should see it as soon as you open. It should be one of the first things you see.
Okay. So it's a lot more about shorter, more condensed, piquing curiosity, not giving them all the information on that landing page, and also making it as easy and as obvious as possible that they have to put the information toward the top so they can learn more after. Does
Correct.
that sound right? Okay, awesome. Thanks for that about landing pages. I had a couple of questions about then CRM. What CRMs would you, if issuers were to do this on their own, uh, what CRMs would you recommend that they look into? I know that HubSpot is pretty popular, Salesforce. Any guidance that you can provide on the best CRM to use for
Sure.
these types of campaigns?
Sure, I'll tell you the one we use, right? And as marketers, we use Go High Level. It's just very easy. If you like HubSpot, you can use it personally for what we do and what I think that's needed for the majority of campaigns in equity. You could Go High Level does the majority. Like I don't think HubSpot compares. It's more of an enterprise system solution than
Do you say that HubSpot is more enterprise system?
yeah, it's more enterprise. It's not for this.
Okay. You said go high level. Perfect. I will take note of that. As a reminder too to everyone that's listening, I'll also send a follow-up of all everything that we talk about, a quick summary, and any takeaways that we have as well. And I'll include go high level in that as well. Thanks, Jose. That is very helpful. Along those lines, when really building out that funnel, what might that funnel ultimately look like? Is it a combination of email, phone? What would that breakdown look like between those two? And how many touches would you recommend that people put into place?
Right. So the funnel is ads into landing page, from landing page opt-in, email and SMS, goes to the CRM. Once they opt in, then you got to give them something, right? You got to give them a reason to opt in, whether it be your pitch deck or, get it to get access to see my campaign page. But you have to give them something. You have to play around with that a bit, depending on what each specific offering has. But then once they give you their information, then you gotta, people hate this, but you gotta spam them, right? Like you gotta, people are interested. I like using I'm drawing a blank right now, but one of the biggest e-commerce stores, and I love e-commerce stores as like a way to show this because they send so many emails, right? And do you really unsubscribe? No, you have them there. You're just learning, right? You just see it. So it's a thing. As long as you are sending messages, then people are, and they're relevant to you, right? Then people are not gonna unsubscribe. So I would say maybe like 7 messages across email and SMS just to start. And then after that, like 2 or 3 a week.
And at one point, do you embed the webinar into that funnel within those seven messages?
It's embedded in all of them. In every single message, there is an email, an SMS. It's like one every 3 or 5. Again, it really depends on the campaign, and we got to look at it and see where it's better to put it for you, right? How technical is it? Is it something that's very easy to understand or not? But and how it ends up looking with what you have, like how many are you BC funded? So maybe we talk about that first, right? Or are you not? Do you have angel investors? Did somebody do a Is there a lead investor that did a huge number that maybe we should show off? It really depends on what you have, and then we'll craft that. But in emails, it's the majority of the emails.
Uh,
And along those same lines, for a campaign that is currently live, is there a number of webinars that you recommend in a monthly basis? Like maybe it's every 2 weeks you should host one, or is that too much? Is that too little? What do you think there?
We do one a month. Honestly, we haven't done a bi-weekly cadence. But the real reason on how often you should do it is probably more linked to your ad spend and email list. If you're spending $100 a day, you're probably not gonna get enough leads to do a webinar every other week or every month. But if you have a bigger ad spend or you have a bigger email list, then that makes sense, right? Because you have the leads that will show up.
Awesome. A couple of quick questions are coming in here. Is it for CRM? Is that part of your webinar package, or would that be separate?
No, that's part of the full campaign package. For the webinar package, you actually don't need it because we are sending emails and people are opting in to the webinar campaign, and then they get automatic emails to show up. And then we have a little trick that we do that. I'm sorry, but I can't say here. It's a it's a little trick that gets our attendance up. Um, and that's what why you don't need the CRM there. If you're running ads, you 100% need a CRM or you are going to burn your money.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one other question too about webinars would be for the automated communications that go out, the call to action on those emails. Is there two? Is it invest now, or is it sign up for this webinar, or is it a combination of both of those two? Is it alternating? How do you deal with call to action on those emails and text messages?
So when they are from our automations, right? Then we have both, just like you said. When we have, there's specific emails that we do during the month where it's like trying to get attendance for the webinar, then those are going to be webinar only. We don't want them to take any other action. So it just depends on the goal, right? Like when you're in the education phase, you do both. When you are just in the webinar sign up phase, then just webinar.
Awesome. And then during the webinars themselves, what would you recommend that people ultimately cover during those? Is it just a straight pitch session? Is it more office hours based where investors come with questions? Is it a combination of those? How would you recommend that issuers organize their
So
webinars?
what has worked for us is kind of what we're doing right now, where you would have a list of questions and you're asking me questions and I'm responding to them. And then people understand, like, oh, I get it. So you might be like, what's your mission? What's your history? Tell me about your team. What did you do? Where are you planning to go? How do you generate revenue? And you're just hearing the founder talk. Sometimes it's, a couple more people. We've had webinars where it's like a team of six and one person is hosting. But it's just how it is. That one was with Kevin Harrington. So Kevin Harrington is huge for everybody. He's like one of the Shark Tanks.
Yeah, we've actually done a couple webinars with Kevin Harrington in the past. He's pretty involved with, I think, Protein Quick
He's
there
great.
for a little bit. Yeah, he's really great to have on. Um, let's see, a couple questions here on examples of compelling landing pages. Jose, maybe afterward we could follow up with some resources on what those might look like
Yeah, for
for
sure.
people if you'd like.
Yeah, if you could send me an email, then we can connect and I can show you.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds great. And then, so it sounds like for most webinars, you'd recommend more of a fireside chat type of format where there's a host, they're asking questions of the founder, not just the founder speaking in front of the camera, pitching directly, always having a couple people on the call to interact, go back and forth via questions, etc. Is that is that about right?
100%. It makes it more exciting because even now that I was explaining, something kind of technical, it was just me talking the whole time, right? So even though it's interesting, I might at a certain point you might yawn, be like, yeah, I get it, it's interesting, but talk to somebody, make it fun. So it makes it more engaging when you're chatting.
Yes, absolutely. Another question that just came in. What kind of SMS messages would you typically send? How short? Is there a maximum on characters? Is the goal just to drive them to another page? What do the SMS messages look like compared to the emails that may be more longer form?
Emails are longer format, SMS are short format, and trying to create a response. So what you're trying to do by SMS is build a relationship with that person, right? Because then they'll want to invest. If you just tell me like you just send if every single message is just this is what we've done, this is us, this is us, this is us, it's like, all right, I don't want to hear about you. I want to hear about me, right? So like what are your goals with investing? Oh, I want to invest in XYZ. Oh, great. This is, we're part of that, right? Like, and then make them feel like they're doing something that they want to do. So it really just depends. And yeah, they're short. To answer that question, SMS, I don't remember the character limit off the top of my head, but after a certain character limit, you're charged twice. So you stay within that character limit unless the message is really important.
Awesome. And then, so you were talking about the funnel, ads, landing page, email, SMS, webinar. What does it look like after that? Is it let's book a call, and in order to book a call, is there a certain step where you have to make sure that you know how much the person is willing to invest, or is it regardless of how much that person is willing to invest, you should just jump on a call on it, whether it's a $200 investment or it's a 10K investment. What does that filtering process look like, or does it not matter? And jumping on a call with any investor is a good idea. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, great question. So after the webinar, you obviously are sending emails and SMS to try to get people to convert as quick as possible. Um, for some people that are not converting, and for example, they attended the webinar and they watched over X amount of time and they haven't converted, then you might send them an SMS like, hey, how much are you interested in investing? Or, and they might be like, 10K. Uh, and you're like, okay, well, do you want to book a call with our founder? And then you would push them to the call. Most founders are very busy, so they're not gonna take a call for a a low number. They'll take it for like I think 2,500 is the lowest I've seen people take a call for. So for 2,500, they'll take a call, or they'll put somebody on their team, depending on how busy they are. We have a founder right now who said I won't take a call for less than like 20 grand, but he said his team would for 5 grand, right? So it just depends on how busy they are and what they're doing day to day. Um, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a ton of sense. So it sounds like for the most part, 2,500 is a good threshold to where if they want to invest less than that, probably just send them to your offering page and continue to add them to the flow. Any more than that, we'll always like to suggest jumping on a call from there.
Right. And because the one thing I didn't say is because we're in a CRM throughout the conversations, right? Their SMS and the email conversations, you will get how much they want to invest, right? That is one of the goals is to understand. And when somebody tells you that, you tag them in the CRM. So then you can filter on the CRM by like, hey, I only want to see people that have a tag of 5,000 or more, right? So then those people are okay, I'm gonna go focus on that. So hey, tell your team member, hey, go message them. Go get them to close. Go get them to book a call. Ask them what's going on. But
Definitely.
that's why building a robust CRM is important.
Hmm. On webinars, Jose, how do you respond to founders that say, "I'm not good in front of the camera"? And
Yes,
so
yeah.
I don't want to I don't want to host a webinar because I'm not as animated. I don't think I can have fun on the call. I'm not good at that type of thing, so I don't want to do it. How do you usually respond to those types of
We
founders?
are 100% honest and we tell them like you cannot do a webinar. Let's talk to your C-suite. Let's see who there has more energy. Like some people are really monotone and they just can't do it. And we tell them and they are actually like they enjoy that. Why? They feel like we're being honest and we're being honest because we want our reputation to be good, right? Like, working with you guys, we want the referrals. We're not going to tell somebody do it when they think they're not going to be successful. We want them to be successful, so you keep referring people. So we're 100% honest at all the stages of it. Like, you can't do it, you can't do it.
Absolutely. I like that. I wasn't sure you were going to go with that response, but I think that makes a ton of sense. I wasn't sure if you push them to put themselves out there, or if okay, if you don't want to do it, let's find
Um,
someone else on your team that does want to do it.
yeah, there's so many people. Like there's team members, there's lead investors, right? There's sometimes
Hmm.
working with influencers that are just naturally gifted at this. So it's just let's get the best person for this.
Yeah, actually, that's really helpful because it sounds like on these webinars, you don't always have to have the founder specifically front and center. You could always invite advisors, other team members, others who support the business. It doesn't always have to be the founder directly in the hot seat every single event.
Correct.
Love that. Let's see. We have gotten a couple questions here, Jose, on pricing for your services. We could cover that now, or we can just follow up afterward. I'll defer to you on what you
Yeah,
would
I,
prefer
I
there.
mean, I'm honestly rather people book a call with us.
Okay.
We like fair price to be honest with you for what we do, but wouldn't want our competitors to know our prices if this gets out there. So that's kind of why.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Uh, with that, I think that's a pretty good spot to start to wrap up. Jose, do you want to go toward, do you have any closing side toward the end there with ways that people can get in touch with you and end up booking a call with you?
Right, so you can just go to our website and book a call. It's growhack.com. or email me, jose@grohak.com. Jamie is also in the call. You can email him, jamie@grohak.com, and he'll set you up. Honestly, I think that this was great for everybody that's attending. You definitely got value. Like you could see how you would probably change your strategy, how you should run ads, how you should tag people, how you should test things, how you should do a webinar. So make sure you listen, probably replay it and come work with us. I would love that. But if not, I would still like you to be successful. I gave a lot of information. I normally am a little more, reserved about it. So you have to talk to us. But Troy was great at getting the info out.
Jose, we certainly appreciate you joining and for all the transparency during the event as well. Uh, with that, any last questions from anyone who's still on with us? If not, in the meantime, Jose, any last words of advice, anything that you want to share with people before we wrap up?
No, hopefully you book a call with us. If not, the piece of advice is to listen to your customers. Like they are there to tell you, and there's a million other campaigns already, right? It's not 2017. If you have a business, it's likely already raised capital, right? Like the same industry, the same type of business. Go look at what their comments were in their campaign, and you are gonna learn so much. You're gonna learn how you should position. Should I change my title, right? Do I have the best title that's actually making people engage? I don't know. Let me go see what everybody else was doing. My favorite company was Adam Lims. I was just it was very, very, it was my favorite because it was so easy, to be honest with you. It's an AI robot arm. Like, how do you not invest in that? They're like ex Tesla, ex Google, ex like
Hmm.
insane companies that it was just like easy. So, of course,
Yeah, that sounds like a very easy sell. What was the name
Adam Lims,
of the
I
the
think
company
they've
that you
raised now
mentioned?
like, if I don't remember, like over like 20
Okay.
million from just equity crowdfunding. Yeah, over the years, right? They've raised multiple times. It's crazy.
Wow, that is very crazy.
Any other questions?
All right, guys. Jose, really appreciate you joining us today. For those who request introductions, we'll just send those over right after this. I will also send a follow-up with a recording and then more information. We'll share more information about their pricing and the two packages, but we will still share that information with you after this call. With
Awesome.
that, Jose, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you taking the time. A ton of insights. Thank you for being so transparent. And I think that's it. We can go ahead and wrap up. I'll share everything after the call. Jose, thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks everyone for joining. And stay tuned for more events of ours.